So in today's video, we are going to be reducing the block diagram and finding the transfer function of the system. As you can see, the further we go, the more complex our block diagram is becoming. So if you notice, we are in this system, we are having numerous blocks. And first of all, what would be our first step? Because whatever we take as our first step would be able to pave out a way on how we are going to reduce this block into a single block, these multiple blocks into a single block. So first of all, ask yourself, can we take G1 and G2 in series? It's not possible because this disturbance, there is a summing point in between these two blocks. So what do? What perfect rule can we use to resolve this problem? So first of all, I would say, though there are many rules, you mustn't use exactly the way I did this one now in particular. There can be another way out also. But to me now, first of all, I would move this summing point to come before this block. I would move this summing point to come before this block. That is the first rule I have applied now. So moving this summing point to come before this block, you are going to add the inverse of the actual gain, which is G1. You add the inverse of the actual gain at the top here, which is G1. Secondly, I'm going to move this point to come across this block and stay over here. So here is going to be this is going to be the takeoff point. So I'm moving this point to come above G4. So whenever you move a point to come above G4, you are going to also what? Add the inverse of the actual gain, which is G4. So now let's perform it here. So we have arrow X. So this is the summing point plus minus. So I'm moving this summing point towards this place. So I'll be having minus plus. Then I put my block G1. I put this one. This plus and this minus. So I do it like this. So here we have our H, and we come over here. So I'm just drawing it now in the same way it's supposed to be. So this point now, I'm going to move this point over to this place. So I'll be having this will be my G4. This will be my G4. So I'll be putting this point now over to this place. So I'll add the inverse of the actual gain, which is G4. And here we have H3. So because we also removed we interchanged the particular, we moved this summing point over to this place. So I'll also be adding the actual gain, which is 1 all over G1. So I join them. So this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be then. Then here we have H2. So we've done this. So next, what we are going to do now is to modify every blocks, the blocks that are above here, all the blocks here, we are going to modify them in series. So modifying them, every blocks in series, we are going to multiply 1 all over G1 with H3 and 1 all over G4. So the result, we would have a row of X, which is this plus minus plus. So we have this. So when you multiply all, we will have H3 all over G1 G4. So we have this will be, so you can see that G1 G1 sorry, you can see that G1 and G2 they are in series. So we are also going to multiply them. So we are modifying every blocks that are in series. So we say G1 times what? G2 will be over here. Then this will be our H. So H1 and connect it over here. So the next one will be plus minus. So this will be our H2. So the same thing, G3 and G4 are in series, so they will be multiplied. We would have G3 G4. So this is all what we'll get and connected here. So we have this is our C of X. So now the next thing we are going to do is the next step we are going to take is to, if in associative law, summing points can be exchanged and you can also exchange the takeoff point. So that is one of the rules, as I said in the previous, that takeoff points can also be exchanged, then summing points can also be exchanged. So what I want to do now is that I'm going to take this point and bring it over to this place. The reason why I'm doing this is that so that we will be able to modify this particular side, this place. Now we'll be able to resolve this place, and I'm going to interchange this summing point. This summing point now is going to come over to this place, then this one will come over to this place. So that is what I want to do now. So the next step we are going to take is to exchange summing points. I'm exchanging these summing points because if I didn't do it, if I am to resolve this particular place, if I'm to resolve here, it won't be possible. It won't be possible because I'm having this summing point over here. So in order for me to resolve this problem, I have to exchange this so that this line, this feedback would extend to this place. So see what I'm going to do now. So look at it over here. So I'll say arrow of X. Sorry, let me clean it so that there will be more space. So I'll say arrow of X. I'll be having this, like I said, here now becomes minus plus, y here becomes plus minus. So I've exchanged these summing points, and this has to be, I have to extend this. So I have H3 all over G1 G4. So extending it, I come over to this place. I have G1 G2. So here is my plus minus. So here is G3 G4. So now the point that's supposed to be here, like I said earlier, I'm going to put this point to come before this point here. So when this point comes before this point, there is no changes. So I want to remove this point. The reason why there is no changes is because there is no block in between them. It's not going above, or is not coming before any block. So if I change it, it doesn't create any effect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it to this place. So I'll extend this and put it over here so that we'll be able to clarify this side. So now I'm going to draw the feedback. This is our H2, putting it over here. So, and this one, this is our H1, then I put it over here. So as you can see now, we can be, this now becomes more easier for us. So let's take this point now. Let's take this part. So this place now, this one now in particular now, we want to resolve this place. So remember that applying this formula, that the formula for a negative feedback is g of x all over 1 plus or minus g of x h of x. So we are going to use this formula to resolve this part now. So see what we do next. So for the next, we have a row of x. So we have minus and we have plus. So putting it this way. So we have g1. So in resolving this now, using this formula, we'll be having g1, g2 all over 1 plus g1, g2, h1. So when we do it, we connect it to this place. For this place, so let's resolve this side now. Let's resolve this side. So resolving this side, we'll be having what? We'll be having g3, g4 all over 1 plus g3, g4, h2. So we've resolved this place entirely. So the next one, so let's put our feedback. So we have h3 all over g1, g4. So we put it to this place. So as you can see, we are able to reduce it to this level. So now these two blocks are in the same lane. These two blocks are in series. So we are going to multiply them. So we say a row of x would be minus plus so multiplying them, we would have g1, g2, g3, g4 all over what? Into bracket 1 plus g1, g2, h1 into bracket 1 plus g3, g4, h2. Sorry for the space. So we'll now, this is what c of x, our c of x. So now we are connecting this back. So we have h3 all over g1, g4. So we are bringing it down to this place. So as you can see now, we now have a complete, it's only one loop now that we are having. So to resolve this, we'll now write c of x by using this formula, this same formula, because it is a negative feedback. So this is connected to here, and this minus is a negative feedback. So we'll be using g of x all over 1 plus g of x, h of x. So what we are going to have is the transfer function c of x all over a row of x is equals to g1, g2, g3, g4 all over 1 plus g1, g2, g3, h1 into brackets 1 plus g3, G4 H2 all over 1. This one now, there is something that brings confusion concerning this one. This one is not just, some people write it to be in it will be in a small way. This one now would govern, let me write it now so that you will know. 1 plus G1, G2, G3, G4 all over 1 plus G1, G2, H1 into brackets 1 plus G3, G4, H2 times, so we are going to call this one now, we are going to call it H. You understand it? Times H, which is H3 all over what? G1, G4. So in order to resolve this, we are going to take the LCM. So we are going to find, first of all, because of our time, we won't do this, but first of all, whenever you are resolving, take the LCM of this first of all. Then when you take the LCM, input it back. Then take the reciprocal. Any one that is to cancel will be cancelled. Then you get your final answer. So thank you very much.